Today I'm going to be refinishing these aluminum vent covers that go on our Cobalt 292. Like on most boats, they get scratched up after a while. The paint starts chipping off and they start looking pretty ugly. And this one's in pretty good shape, just a lot of chipped paint. This one is also in pretty good shape. It's got one little bent fin right here. I'm going to bend that back and straighten it out. And I'm going to sand both of these down, get most, whatever I can reach with sandpaper, most of the paint off, and then we're going to prime and paint them. I got them sanded and scuffed up anywhere that there was paint chipped off. I made sure, like right here, for example, some paint was chipped off, made sure to sand it as best I could and smooth it out. My attempt here was not to get all the paint off, but at least to scuff up all the surfaces to give the primer and the paint something to adhere to, so it's not a glossy finish. And then, since these are aluminum and not steel, I went ahead and rinsed them off at high pressure, used some compressed air to blow the water off, and now I'm going to let them sit and dry for a few hours. And once they're totally dry, then I'll prime and paint them. Now we're going to be doing the painting. The closest color I found is the Blossom White Satin from Rust-Oleum. It's the 2X Ultra Cover Paint and Primer. I really like the 2X Ultra Cover. I've used it for speaker grills and other things. It works well on metal, plastic parts, and all kinds of stuff. I went ahead and sprayed this piece here, and this one I sprayed one direction. You can still see some of the bare spots on the end. And we're going to go ahead and put a coat on this end as well. Then we're going to give it about 5 minutes to flash off and then put a second coat on. All right, we'll give it a few minutes to flash off and we'll come back with a second coat. I'm getting ready to put the second coat on, and between coats and anytime you let the can sit for a few minutes, make sure you start shaking it again. Give it a shake for about a minute or two. That way everything's mixed up real well. And you get a nice even coat. All right, let's get the second coat on. And we'll go on to the next one. Get a little shot from the sides. And we'll get this end. Now we've got two coats on here. It's hard to tell in the video, but we're starting to get real good coverage, but there's some parts where we can still see through the paint, where I got all the way down to the bare metal, like right here, little spot right up here on the top. So we're gonna give it a few minutes, do a third coat, and I bet we'll need a fourth coat as well. We've got three coats on here, and we've got good coverage everywhere. There's no color from underneath showing through. I'm going to put one more coat on here, a fourth coat, and then we'll let it sit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, move it on inside the garage, and we'll let it sit for 24 hours at least before putting it back on the boat. It's been about 24 hours and the paint is dried. dry to the touch, and I really like the way this satin came out. It's not super duper glossy, and it's not matte. I don't know if you can tell in the video. It's got a little bit of sheen to it, but not too much to where it's going to be as glossy as the gel coat, and that's exactly how I wanted it. So these came out really nice. It was 4 coats of spray, and that was just enough. You can probably put a 5th coat on if yours is even worse, but these came out extremely nice. So next I'm going to go ahead and get them put on the boat and screwed in and see how they look.